What's going on, guys? We're back with a brand new video. In today's video we're starting a brand new series on the channel, and the series is the season preview series. I'll be doing a season preview on every single AFL team, starting at Adelaide and ending with the Western Bulldogs. And I'll be doing a season preview, breaking down every single team in the comp and showing you what to expect from that team and the big improvers and sort of players that are going to have a breakout year leading into the 2021 season. So hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to drop a like on this video, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 200 subscribers, and if you like this video, share it out to a lot of people and comment down below what you think of the series and what improvements I can make, because I'll read every single comment. Now let's get straight into the video. So Adelaide, as most people know, did not have the best year, but they did end off with a 3-win streak before losing in the last round to the Tigers, which were the reigning premiers. So no real surprise that they did lose, and nothing to be sad about for any Adelaide Crows that they didn't continue on their little 4-win streak. But it was really great to show that this team can actually win a few games, especially when they were still developing as a list and showing that their young talent were actually developing during the season. They had a pretty quiet trade period on the trade front, with their only big kind of moves was Brad Crouch leaving and Jackson Hately coming in. I don't know if I'm missing anything else. I don't think I am, but they really, the one place where they really hit the ground running was their draft period, where they got in, I think, 3 or 4 or 5 first round picks or something like that, which is absolutely great. Some great young talent. The main one, of course, is Riley Thilthorpe. That is a South Australian, so you can expect to see him around for probably his whole career at Adelaide. And then they added in Pedlar, that people thought why he got taken this high, but he showed some great potential, and he is also a South Australian, so you can expect him to be around and probably play a lot of games next year. Him and Riley Thilthorpe, which will be great to see what this team can do, especially with Jackson Hately, because he's very young. He's 21 or something. Bringing in, I think he was the 13th pick in the 2018 draft, which was a very stacked draft, which had a lot of star players coming out, and he's not really showing his potential because he hasn't really got too many games so far, but I almost can guarantee he'll play every single game next year. So yeah. So for Adelaide's breakout player of 2021, I've chosen Shane McAdams, which already did have a huge improvement coming into this year. It was his first season of football, and this bloke looks like an absolute gun. He's an older recruit. He was kind of like a mature age recruit. He's currently sitting at 25 years old, which is pretty old for playing your first game this year, but he's shown that he was worth the wait. Absolute gun. Got drafted last year, not this year, and he's absolutely shown that he is a elite. His athleticism is off the charts. I didn't really know much about him coming to this year, as much no one really did. It was, I think it was pretty much a late pick. Did not play his first season of football last year. So got a few games this year, and geez, he looks like the absolute real deal. He has great sense around goals, can set up plays, great kick of the footy. His athleticism is literally off the charts. He sits on people's heads for fun. The only reason I really recognise this bloke, because no offence to Adelaide fans, because I watch all types of football, but this was my first priority to watch an Adelaide game unless they were versing my team or anything. And when I saw him play, I'm like, geez, this bloke's an absolute jet. Search up his name, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Adelaide certainly got a gem here, so get forward to looking at this bloke for the next few years, Adelaide. Next up is a big improver, and I have Elliot Himmelberg. He's kind of had a slow regression around his career so far. We're going into his 5th season of football, and late last year, he really just shown that he can actually be a great young key forward in the competition. One of my favourite key forwards to actually watch, which was very surprisingly, because I wasn't really watching too many Adelaide games at the start of the year, because obviously they were on this huge losing streak. But I try to watch as many games of football as I can, so I try to tune in of as many games of football from Adelaide as I could, because I love to get the knowledge about football a lot. And when I saw Elliot Himmelberg play, I thought, geez, this is got to be the perfect partner for Riley Thilthorpe for the future. And his real breakout game was that GWS game where I think he kicked 3 or 4 or something. Absolutely showed. He was just clunking him. He looked like he had glue in his hands. So something to look forward to for Adelaide in 2021. Next up is a player that needs to improve in the 2021 season, and I've gone for Chase Jones, which I feel like a few people can actually back me up on this one. That he's not really shown that he's playing at elite level so far in his career. After coming up at the ninth pick in the 2018 draft, which was absolutely stacked, that 2018 draft. There are players coming after him at the ninth pick, which are like Zach Butters at the 12th pick, Isaac Kleiner at the 13th pick, Xavier Dersmer at the 18th pick, which are all players that end up being better than him so far. I'm not saying they're beating him at the end of his career, but so far Chase Jones has shown that he's not really lived up to expectations as people would have thought he would. He's been redrafted as a midfielder. So far he's played as more of a forward in his career, and he's not really been that great at both, so hopefully he sees to show what he was actually made for in the ninth pick and show that he can back it up and not leave Adelaide fans dry, because there's a few players coming out of that draft like Will Hamill that was also drafted way later in the draft that has turned out to be a better player currently than Chase Jones, but he needs to show that he was worth the ninth pick. Next up for the BNF winner in the 2021 season, I've gone for Ben Keays. He just arrived at the club after getting delisted from the Brisbane Lions in the 2020 season. He was a highly talented player when he first got drafted. Didn't really work out at Brisbane, which caused him to get delisted. But Adelaide took a chance on him last season. He ended up being one of their best midfielders for their whole season and a real breakout that they can look forward to. I'm sure he became kind of like a fan favourite for Adelaide, and his stats very backed it up. He ended up coming fourth in disposals, fourth in clearances, third in score involvements, and he ended up coming fifth in contested possessions for the year, which is great stats to show for Adelaide that they took a punt on someone and they worked out. They should try to take some more punts like this with younger players. They got highly touted because right now they're in a position where they can't really lose, and taking a punt on someone like this end up turning out and could be a BNF winner next year. He has to fight out people like Riley O'Brien and Shane McAdams that could have also a go at it, and players like that. But I hope that he keeps on improving after he did this season and ups his disposal count, gets more time in the midfield with Brad Crouch leaving, and it can really open up for him, and he could really be a great story. For every team I will be doing a best 22, and this is the best 22 that I've chosen for Adelaide. There's a few changes that could be made to this team, but this is the team that I very liked. I've gone for the midfield group of Rory Sloane, Jackson Haley and Matt Crouch as the followers around the ball, with Ben Keays that will probably have a lot of time actually going into the guts this year, but I've just got him standing outside because he's a very impactful player, great leg on him. And then a very interesting one was Tex Walker on the other wing. There's a lot of stories that came out at the early of the year that he was going to go to take the route to make his body feel better in taking a wing route, but obviously that didn't happen this year, which caused a lot of injuries happen to the team, which caused Tex to actually have to play forward this year. But with Riley Thilthorpe and Elliot Himmelberg having a breakout year, this can really show that he doesn't need to play in the forward line anymore, and he can do what Nick Riewoldt and Matthew Richardson did and take his talents to the wing. He's a very high endurance player, great leg on him, can hit a target, great score involvement player that can really help him. And then I have the backline group. Their backline looks very elite, led by the 19-year-old McCasey, which didn't really get too much of a run at it. He definitely did show that he was developing. He had a few clutch moments, like when he took that mark against the Saints when he went back with the flood the ball and took that huge mark, which is like, geez, this bloke can show some. But with like Rory Laird, Brodie Smith, Tom Doherty and Wayne Malera that did not with Doherty played like half the season, Malera was out for the whole year with an injury, and Daniel Talia with some help around him back in that back line, he can really show his talents of being an All-Australian again. So their backline's looking very, very solid, and I would have to say probably their strongest part of their team going into next year. A few things could change this year with Tom Lynch. Players like Tom Lynch and Tex Walker could probably get pushed out of the team, since they're in a leadership role, but they're no captain or anything like Rory Sloane. I expect Rory Sloane to play almost every game next year. But then they've got players like Hamill, that played a lot of games this year, showed his talents. I'm a very, very big fan of him. And Lockie Schulp, one of the best kicks in the AFL. That game against Carlton where he was just killing him, kicked like 2 goals, 20-something disposals. I'm like, geez, this bloke's a king. Schoenberg, which has become a very good favourite. He's a very, very big boy. He's definitely a wide bloke. Hard to get tackled when you're that big, so he can develop into a very good midfielder and get a lot of midfield time in here with Brad Crouch leaving. And then Jackson Haitley, who can finally show they can actually play AFL football. He's been very rarely in one of the best midfields in the comp in GWS. He could not get a game, but he'll probably play every game in the guts next year, and you can really show what you've got with Jackson Haitley, and I expect the very best. And then someone that's kind of gone out of the radar is Darcy Fogarty. They can play as a third tall in this team and really show his talents with finally having a young little core around him. He's like they really showed at the end of 2019 where he kicked their 5 goals on All-Australian centre half back Jeremy McGovern, and everyone's like, geez, this bloke can show his talent. So I expect him to do the same thing. And then the other top 10 draft picks that I have in here is Luke Pedley. That it'd be great. He's like a mid-type of forward that can kind of run the midfield and play forward. So it'll be interesting to see what he does next year. And sorry Adelaide fans, but I do have you guys finishing 18th. I don't have you as a lock as 18. I feel like there's a few teams around your mark that could probably take the spot from you. But I feel like that I've told a lot of people in the comment section, I would rather Adelaide finish last because at least they get another top prospect in the draft next year and get the first selection and a real young star. And that's what they need right now. They need as many first round picks as they can get into this team. They're really building a nice young core. They don't really have too many star young players yet. But with people like, well, when you keep on getting first round picks in, eventually one of them is going to break out into a very star, like a Matt Rowell or something like that. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to drop a like on this video and leave us a like and subscribe, and comment down below what I could make to make this series better, what I can do to this series, and sections I could add to the previews. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.